The match between Arsenal and Ipswich wasn't the typical thrashing you'd expect from a title contender. Arsenal knew they had to win. There were no other options. Liverpool were running away at the top of the table, piling on the pressure. And to complicate matters further, Bukayo Saka, the team's spark, was facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines due to injury. Arsenal had to find a way to compensate for his absence while under immense pressure not to drop any points. The match started anything but easily. Ipswich didn't come to the Emirates to play attractive football or chase a victory. They came to park the bus. Their defense wasn't just passive. It was a well-organized, calculated system. Arsenal enjoyed 92% possession in the first half. While that sounds dominant, anyone watching live knew it was mostly sterile possession. Real chances were few and far between. Ipswich sat deep, forcing Arsenal to circulate the ball outside the penalty area without any real penetration. Then, the moment of magic arrived. Leandro Trossard, filling in for Saka on the wing, made an intelligent play. He dribbled down the left flank, using his pace and skill to get past Ben Johnson before delivering a low cross. The ball was paced perfectly, just hard enough to evade the Ipswich defenders and find its way to Kai Havertz. It was a relatively simple chance for Havertz, but his precise finish deserved credit. In the 23rd minute, Arsenal took the lead, and a sense of relief rippled through the stands. However, Arsenal weren't entirely comfortable after the opening goal. Ipswich didn't collapse. They stuck to their defensive game plan. Meanwhile, Arsenal struggled to find a second goal. A notable chance came in the 63rd minute when Declan Rice delivered a perfect corner. But Gabriel Magalhaes headed wide from just 3 yards out. Fans could only hold their heads in disbelief, as it was a golden opportunity to kill off the game. For the remainder of the match, Arsenal dominated possession but lacked a real cutting edge. A few bursts forward from Martin Odegaard and long-range efforts from Declan Rice offered fleeting moments of hope. Ipswich maintained their impressive organization, and even as Arsenal tried to increase the tempo, the final ball often lacked the necessary sharpness. Credit must be given to Ipswich, as they did exactly what was needed to keep the game within their grasp. Goalkeeper Arijanet Muric employed time-wasting tactics from as early as the 20th minute, blatant but effective. Meanwhile, defenders like Leif Davis and Kevin Phillips were uncompromising in their approach. This pragmatic approach meant that despite Arsenal's dominance, they could only muster a single goal. The entire match was a psychological test for Arsenal. Could they maintain their composure and determination without Saka on the pitch? Could they break down a stubborn defense and grind out an ugly but effective win? The answer was yes, but it was clearly a victory that prompted more reflection than exuberant celebration. A closer look at how Arteta handled Bukayo Saka's absence reveals that he had to utilize all the resources at his disposal. Gabriel Martinelli was shifted to the right wing, a difficult adjustment for the Brazilian, who was accustomed to operating on the left. That's the area where his pace and cutting inside moves are most effective. But on the right, Martinelli seemed out of sync. Up against Ipswich's Leif Davis, he struggled to create his usual spark, and his play lacked its usual fluidity. This is something Arteta will need to address, as Martinelli's inability to perform effectively in this role might force Arsenal to explore alternative solutions in future matches. As for Leandro Trossard, he proved to be the most logical choice as a direct replacement on the left wing. It was his burst of speed and accurate cross that led to Arsenal's opening goal. However, Trossard's contribution wasn't limited to just that assist. He was one of the few players willing to take on defenders and run with the ball against Ipswich's packed defense. On several occasions, Trossard's runs forced the opposition into panicked clearances. But Trossard is clearly not Saka. He possesses skill but lacks the same sharpness and link-up play that Saka provides. Arsenal will need to find ways to get more out of him because relying solely on moments like the one that produced the first goal will make them predictable. Declan Rice, as usual, played an irreplaceable role in midfield. Arteta's decision to deploy Rice in the number 6 position, acting as a shield in front of the defense, proved to be a shrewd one. As expected, Rice played with composure, intelligence, and always maintained the tempo. Just observing Rice's positioning when Ipswich attempted counterattacks demonstrated his importance. Interestingly, Rice's deeper role also created space for the more advanced players. It was from a Rice corner that Gabriel Magalhaes had a golden opportunity, although it wasn't converted. Arteta clearly knows how to utilize Rice in these types of matches, where the opposition sits deep, and Arsenal needs stability to avoid losing control. However, there's one undeniable issue. Arsenal are still overly reliant on attacks in close proximity to the goal. They score a significant number of their goals from inside the 6-yard box, and Havertz's goal followed this pattern. But against teams that employ a low block, this approach can sometimes become ineffective. We didn't see many shots from outside the box, no speculative long-range efforts. Apart from a few attempts by Declan Rice and Jurrien Timber, Arteta seems overly committed to controlled build-up play, to break down stubborn defenses. Arsenal needs a bit more chaos. The kind of chaos that can create unexpected moments without needing to string together a dozen passes. Clearly, while this victory achieved the desired result, it still leaves Arteta and his team with questions to answer. Defensively, Arsenal are currently operating at a different level compared to many Premier League teams. Clean sheets don't always grab headlines, but observing Arsenal's defensive organization, especially at home, reveals their significance. David Raya, between the posts, continues to justify his signing, with 4 consecutive clean sheets at the Emirates. There's no doubt that Raya and Arsenal's defensive system are forming a formidable barrier. What sets Arsenal apart is the synchronized coordination between the defenders and the high-pressing style of play. Against Ipswich, although the visitors didn't create many clear-cut chances, any potential aerial threats or counterattacks were snuffed out early. It wasn't just Raya's smart positioning and timely interventions, but also the contributions of Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, and even Miles Lewis-Skelly on the left that maintained the defensive wall. Lewis-Skelly, despite being only 18, had a commendable match, not just fulfilling his defensive duties, but also displaying a confidence rarely seen at his age. Arteta is undoubtedly the architect of this success. His strategy of controlling the game, sometimes criticized for being overly cautious, is the key to their unbeaten run at the Emirates. Arsenal are the only team yet to lose at home this season, a significant achievement in the increasingly competitive Premier League. But interestingly, Arteta doesn't just focus on protecting the goal. He understands that possession isn't just about preventing the opposition from scoring. It's also the best way to reduce pressure on the defense. Ipswich rarely had genuine opportunities in this match because they were suffocated by Arsenal's dominance in midfield and attack. Clean sheets aren't solely about defenders and goalkeepers. They reflect the entire team working as a cohesive unit. Kai Havertz, often criticized for his lack of defensive contribution, made some notable tracking back plays. Even Declan Rice, primarily a midfield anchor, frequently appeared in crucial defensive positions to provide cover when needed. This highlights the interconnectedness of Arteta's system. However, Arsenal can't solely rely on home form. Saka's injury poses significant questions for the future, not just because of the missing attacking threat, but also the loss of a player capable of applying pressure from wide areas, a crucial element in maintaining Arsenal's tempo. While clean sheets against weaker teams like Ipswich are positive, to compete with the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City, Arsenal needs alternative strategies to alleviate defensive pressure. Perhaps during this period, Arteta will need to maximize the potential of young players like Miles Lewis-Skelly. He brings not just youthful energy but also intelligent and daring ball-playing abilities. With a demanding fixture list and mounting pressure, the development of young talent will be crucial to Arsenal's long-term plans. It's also essential to acknowledge that defensive solidity is only a foundation if Arsenal can't capitalize on attacking opportunities. To achieve this, they need to find ways to break down resolute defenses like Ipswich's, where a single goal isn't always enough. The victory against Ipswich, though not a flawless performance, demonstrates Arsenal's resilience and adaptability during challenging times. Even without Bukayo Saka, they found a way to score and maintain defensive stability. However, to genuinely challenge Liverpool and sustain a title challenge, Arsenal needs more than narrow victories. They need creativity, the ability to penetrate packed defenses, and, crucially, to to fully unlock the potential of their young players. Arteta and his team have a solid base, but significant challenges lie ahead. It's crucial that they don't become complacent with safety, but continue to refine their approach to conquer greater objectives.